Hello, students. I want to go through just a little bit about what we're doing in class today or what we did in class today. This is for September 24th, and it's the makeup for any of you who missed the session or who might need to go back and see what we did. So, here is your daily plan. When you come into class next week, you can take a look at this. We'll have this up in class, and you can also get to it on your Chromebook each day. Over here on the left is what you're going to need for class on any given day. That will help you make sure that you're ready for class before we start. Here in the middle, we'll look at what our main topic is, what our agenda is, and what our learning targets are. Today, we're just going through some introduction stuff. We're actually not going to cover any specific content. And then over here is your homework. So this is what's going to be coming up. This will be, I think, pretty important for you as we come back to class for something that you can reference on a daily basis. Also, just remember down here at the bottom, here are all of the things that you might need to link to, or here are some of the things you might need to link to. I don't think it'd be all. The calendar is, again, really important. So take a look at that so that you can see what you have coming up in terms of assignments. Today, we're going to move into PDSA for Kepler's laws. But before we do that, I want to show you just a couple of changes that I've made over here in the Accelerated Science Google Classroom. So the first thing is that if you look just at the stream is kind of it's like all crammed in there together. I don't think this is very organized. I don't think it's a good way to find what you need. However, over here in this little box right here, you have the upcoming things that are due. So next Monday, you have your PDSA due. You probably are going to already have it done, but just make sure you have it done by Monday if you don't. Yours, instead of saying view all, I think yours says to do. And if you click on that, it will take you to a list of the information that you have. This will take you to a list of everything that you need to be able to do or that you need to have done. Instead of this is my grading overview. This isn't what you would see, but you would see a list of whether it's been turned in, whether it's missing, whether it's been graded, and so on. So this is a very helpful thing to see if you have anything that's outstanding for a class. If you look in the classwork, this is what I think is most helpful for you. So if you look in the classwork, you can see that up at the top, I've put in a PDSA topic, and that's where you can find your PDSA sheets that we'll be using throughout the year. And there's also a new section in here for in-person daily sessions, and your daily slides will be linked in here. So this stuff will stay up here at the top so that you can see what we have so that you can see what we have going on. And I think that I'll be able to keep the daily slides at the top of this topic right here so that you'll be able to access those pretty easily. All of your live sessions will still be available and all of your homework will still be available. It'll just be farther down in the list because you really don't need it if we're in person. So if we go back to live sessions and the offline, so if we go back to extended digital learning, I'll bring these back up closer to the top and put the in-person down here at the bottom. Okay, so let's work on what we're going to be doing today. And that is working through your PDSA work. So here is what your new PDSA document looks like. You'll notice that the study and act is here first, and then the play and do. That's just because we access study act so much, and this takes off a click for you. Today, though, we need to click on over on the play and do. We are going to be doing both of these standards in this unit. So we're doing high school Earth and Space Science standard 1-4 and high school physical science standard 2-4. So we're going to use mathematical or computational. Computational means the act of doing mathematical calculations. So we're going to be doing mathematical or computational representations to predict the motion of orbiting objects in the solar system. And we're going to do part of this one. We're going to use mathematical representations to of Newton's law of gravitation to describe and predict the gravitational force between objects. We are not going to do the electrostatic force with Coulomb's law. That's something that you'll cover in physics. So, what I would like for you to do is take a look, take a moment at what the standard is asking you to do, and you can do that for both of them. So, take just a second, you can pause the video and answer what's the standard asking me to do, and what is this standard asking me to do. You can pause here. Okay, now that you're back with your own answer, what I would say here and what we talked about in class is that we're going to use mathematical or computational representations. So we're going to do some math. So we're going to use maybe some formulas. Why are we going to use them? To predict. Or what are we going to do with them? We're going to predict. What is it that we're going to predict? We're going to predict how objects move in the solar system. Okay, so how space objects move. For this one, we're going to use mathematical representations. So again, maybe formulas, diagrams, some things like that, that would be mathematical. We're going to be looking specifically at Newton's law of gravitation. And so we're going to use Newton's law of gravitation to describe and to predict gravitational force between objects. You can take a second here and you can write the standard in your own words. Instead of just listing things out that you're going to do, you can actually type it out in your own words. Now that you have your standard written in your own words, let's go over to study and act. So today we're going to do the pre-assessment. You're going to do this in the exact same way that we've been doing all the rest of them. You'll click on a box under the pre-assessment column, and you'll take a look at that learning target. I can describe the path of orbiting objects. You will decide where you are in that. You will rate yourself. Most of these should be in the red and orange categories. Maybe you remember a little bit about this from 6th grade, so you might say that you are at a beginning mastery for this. You might not. So, where might you be? And you're going to go all the way down through here. I don't expect that you even know who Kepler is. You may have heard of Kepler, but I would say that you're going to have quite a bit of red in this. You're only doing the pre-assessed category right here, and you are not doing anything with my data because we haven't taken any actual formative assessments yet. Now that you're finished with your pre-assessment, let's go to the academic vocabulary. In the academic vocabulary, you can see that I have some new columns in here, or I have a new column in here, and that is that there's actually a column now for I do not know what this is. I have no idea what this word means. And that seems to be helpful because there are people who said, well, what do I do if I don't know what it is? Well, now we just have a space to fill in. Makes it a little bit easier because then you can see exactly where you're starting off and you're not like, hey, wait, did I forget to fill this in, or do I really just not know what it is? So fill these in for what is true at this point in time. I'm going to guess that for Kepler's first, second, and third law, you probably don't know what those are, and that's perfectly fine. For these three, you may or may not, but go ahead and put in your date. So today is the 24th. Maybe you're doing this on the 25th as a makeup, but put in the date under what is true for that particular uh, term. That's it. You don't actually have any homework other than to finish this. When you are finished with it, let's go back over to your classroom and look at this. When you are finished, your instructions say be sure to click submit on the PDSA document when you have finished the self-evaluation portions, and that would be the pre-assessment and study and the academic vocabulary. We did the other part together in class, so I'm going to assume that you typed that in as I talked about it in class today. So make sure, please, that you click submit. When we work on it again, you will unsubmit and then do what you need to on our next evaluation. Then you'll submit it again. When we work on it the following time, you'll unsubmit, do what you need to do on your evaluations, and then submit it again. That keeps from having something showing as missing in your assignment. list. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you in person on Monday.